Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to The Only Way Is show. The Only Way Is Kuva'S flip-flop, because Kuva in the last 5 days has gone from, Ange Postecoglou this, Tottenham that, to the quad is on. Isn't that right, Kuva?
No, not 5 days. Soon, the moment we beat City.
Isn't that 5 days ago?
Nah, it's longer than that, isn't it? Oh, no, it is, isn't it?
Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. Well, all right, 6 days. 6 days.
Yeah, see, way out. Get your facts.
Yeah, flip-flop, Savva. You don't even know your own days. Flip-flop.
Context and consistency.
You've got the football club you deserve. You can't even tell what day it is. This is all your fault. This is all your fault.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Sack Savva, so we don't get that £15 million bonus.
Do you know what?
Cup final.
I had a message this morning on the thing that said, just asking for a friend, is your middle name Consistency?
It's context.
Context is my middle name. Consistency is my double-barreled name after Savva. Look, welcome. Normally we do this as a premiered video. Today we do it live. We thought we'd do it live for you. So here we are, and we're talking like that because Ben's about to venture into South London this afternoon. Yeah. Good luck. Let's hope you don't die, because you'll be stabbed by all the hood rats that live around there. But good luck with your journey. Kuva'S had a night this morning, haven't you, Kuva, with a breakfast delivery?
Absolutely. Got a bunch of flowers instead of like a breakfast roll. I mean, come on.
Yeah. So these are the first world problems we're up against here today, people. Guys, this is where we have a light-hearted look at all things Tottenham and really anything we want to talk about. Guys, we've got to start, right? We've got to start before we talk about Tottenham as a whole and Villa and City and blah, blah, blah. I think you both saw my show last night. And listen, this is why I love doing the call-in shows, right? Because you just don't know what you're going to get, right? You don't know what you're going to get until you go, hi, welcome to the show. What do you want to say? And there's a couple of people we've got to talk about. And listen, fair play to these chaps for coming on. It was brilliant. It was great. Should have been on TV, to be honest. Let's start lightheartedly with the Man City fan, shall we? And then we'll move on to the Tottenham fan. So big up to Cundinho, who came on. He's been on my show before. Really nice lad. Speaks really well. But this shows you the difference, guys, between football clubs, right? Cundinho comes into the show and says, basically, there's things I despise about Pep. I'm really disappointed with how Man City are playing right now. I've tried telling everyone for the last 3 years that we've got a shit back four. We've had a really bad summer transfer market, and he doesn't really see where Man City are going. And sorry, guys, each to their own club, but that blows my mind. Does anyone want to pick up on that?
This guy didn't watch Man City 25 years ago, did he? When they were getting beat 8-0 by Middlesbrough. Remember when they got beat 8-0 by Middlesbrough, and now they're complaining about possibly the greatest coach to ever manage it. It's mind-boggling. I would pay a lot of money to have their shit back for. I would pay a lot of money to have their I've met a lot of Man City fans in my day, and when Man City people make fun of Man City fans for being they say the empty hat. They say they don't have any fans. Yeah. The Man City fans you do meet at football games are always old school Man City. Main Road, they were there in the punishing times, and they're having the life of Riley now. They're having the absolute life of Riley. They've gone from seeing their team almost go bankrupt, playing at Main Road, and now they're won everything. They're possibly the greatest football team, apart from that Barcelona team, because I don't think that's a football team. That's just a symphony of godlike whatever it is when it comes to football. Like, they are immortal.
Do you know what, Ben? You nearly came out with a poetic sentence. Yeah. That was wasn't it, Cooper? It was nearly a really poetic sentence of a symphony of godlike whatever that football team was. You kind of tailed off at the end. it was Shakespearean, and then it all of a sudden went into kind of David Walliams. Do you know what I mean?
It was just like this show then.
Yeah. What are you saying? This is
Don't knock David Walliams
on YouTube.
Yeah, definitely don't knock David Walliams. He does great kids' books.
Yeah, he does.
I don't know. I don't know about his kid books. If I had kids' books, it would be really, really weird. Kuva, listen, I get it, right? Every club's doing their own thing, and every set of fans. Listen, I'm not telling them how to feel, but don't we see this from Man City every year? Where, and by the way, when I say we see it, Man City have lost 1 in 10 this season and won 33 Premier League games. They always do this. They never play brilliantly this side of the new year. Yeah. And every football fan in the world goes, City are different this year. City aren't as good. Pep's lost it. I don't know what Pep's trying to do. Then they get to Christmas and it's like Pep says, come on, guys, can we just have our 20-game unbeaten run? It's madness, isn't this, Kuva? Like, it's mad.
No, I'm totally with him. Compare this City team to a few years back when they had Aguero and David Silva and things. I thought the football then was just amazing to watch. So it's purely an aesthetic thing, but when it comes to winning things, they're just a machine at the moment, aren't they? So I mean,
you've got to remember this is a City team. They've got like 7 first-team players out, like top players as well. We're not talking about, we're missing Jed Spence and Wilson Odegaard. They're missing Rodri and De Bruyne, probably the best 2 midfielders in the country. And like, they've only lost 1 game. They've lost 1 game.
Yeah.
Well,
I wish we were that crap.
Yeah. It would be good to be the team that beat them in a cup as well as the one that beat them in the league, wouldn't it? So
oh yeah. Some are calling us the Man City of the South. I'm just saying. I just heard it. It's a rumor. The Man City of the South. Anyway, I thought that was really funny. And the one thing I said to him on the show, guys, is he wouldn't last. I said a week of being a Spurs fan. I don't think he'd last 1 YouTube show. Like, how do you look at all the rows and the debates we have within the Spurs fan base, and we've got Man City fans going, you know what? I'm not sure Pep's up to it anymore. Like, I'll have him.
I'll swap him.
I'll have Pep.
I'll have him.
I'll tell you, the only surprise for me is they do seem to be a more sort of robotic defensive type team now. It used to be a case of, they'd go out and score 8. They might let in a couple, but they didn't give a toss. Now it's much more controlled in the games. Except for when they do lose, of course, but that isn't very often. But it's not rare to see Man City win 1-0 or just 2-0 or something now, is it?
Yeah.
Well,
but they normally turn it on the other side of the year,
how,
don't they?
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
How good Iraola's doing at Bournemouth that he can beat Man City. So it's almost insulting to how good Bournemouth have been in the since they've appointed this manager. They've sort of been floundering since they got rid of since Eddie Howe left, and now they finally found the manager that really suits the philosophy they want to do, and they're doing some good stuff. They're doing some good stuff. This is a side that's their entire stadium is smaller than Tottenham South Stand, so it's not like they've got that influx of revenue from being they've got to be they're a well coached team with a very good manager, and they were well worth their victory at the weekend.
See, this is why I've always been against the idea that we've got to play Man City. You've got to sit back in a low block and counter attack. Bournemouth did none of that. They took the game to them. They absolutely went at them.
I think it depends which Man City you're playing, right? I mean, I think if it's a Man City with Rodri in the midfield, they dictate everything from minute 1 to minute 90. Rodri, it's a huge loss, right? He's a huge loss. And let's be fair, the fact that they're still, they're 2 points off the top after 10 games, lost 1 game. Every other club would dream of this. And Man City fans, it's almost like, don't get me wrong, I know some of them weren't around 20 years ago. But again, like Ben said at the beginning, I remember watching Man City in what is League One, right? I remember Man City went down to League One and had people like Paul Dickoff up front. And do you know what I mean? They had Nicky Weaver in goal, if I remember,
and still getting near 30,000 crowds. It was mad, wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then fast forward 20 years, they're the best team in the world, give or take, over the last 5, 6, 7 years, them, Madrid, etc. And now we've got fans who you lose 1 in 10 and they're going crazy. Yeah, Man City fans never support Spurs. If Man City were to go bust, don't support Spurs. You wouldn't cope. You'd have aneurysms. You wouldn't be able to cope with Tottenham. Should we move on to the next person who came onto my show, guys? Because this one, I think we can all get stuck into from a Tottenham perspective. And listen, big up to the Hitman. Fair play for coming on. I called him out.
Yep.
I called him out and I said, are you a troll? You never know, right? You see these people. Anyway, he turns up. Fair play to him. Big up to my man, the Hitman. I don't know his real name. I hope it is the Hitman because that would be really cool. And he's sitting there talking to me and telling me that I'm negative, right? Basically, everything I say is negative. I only concentrate on the negatives. Cool. Then we get down to somebody in the chat. I'm sure you saw it. Someone in the chat put a post saying, Sav, of those 40 years that you talk about supporting Spurs, how many of those years was Daniel Levy the chairman? So I said, well, 24 of them. He said, well, Daniel Levy, like us, the fans, Daniel Levy wants trophies like us. He's just going about it in a sustainable way, i.e. we're not going to plunge money in. Bro. So I turned around to the Hitman and said, a sustainable way. Please show me where this has worked. Show me the 24 years of evidence where this has worked. And he went, his response was, well, I understood him sacking Jose Mourinho 5 days before a cup final. Says to me that he understood because winning that cup final would have had long-term negative ramifications on Tottenham Hotspur. Guys, mind blown again how we're the only fan base that would see a negative in winning a cup final.
It was even funnier, Savva, because just before he was actually advocating for getting the league and only going for a cup. So what he's actually saying, he only wants to win a cup with a manager he likes, but if he doesn't like a manager, he doesn't want them to win anything. Right, so basically, he supports the manager rather than the football club. And I don't know about you guys. When Ange Postecoglou leaves Tottenham, I'll still be a Tottenham fan. When Jacques Santini left Tottenham, I was still a Tottenham fan. When Jose Mourinho left Tottenham, I was still a Tottenham fan. When Pochettino, the best manager, except for maybe Redknapp, as well, when they both left, I was still a Tottenham fan. This guy only seems to be supporting managers he likes.
Right.
So he didn't want Mourinho to win a cup final because that's negative because we have to pay 15. I don't care. I support Tottenham. If Ange Postecoglou wins a trophy at Tottenham, he's a god in my eyes. And I don't like this manager because that's the whole point. I want to win with Tottenham. But the guy, he said he was advocating us for getting the league and winning the League Cup with Ange, but not with Mourinho, who is more likely going to... Because how many finals has Jose lost? 3? Maybe? 3 or 4? In his entire career of being a manager?
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me. It makes absolutely no sense. But
I'm the negative one, Kuva. I'm the negative one, and we're condoning not winning trophies. Kuva, I'm going to ask you this. Off the back of that, I decided to show him because he said this was a washed up. I love this. This was a washed up Jose Mourinho, right? I'm going to show you, like I showed him, how washed up this Jose Mourinho was. Now, you can see here, it's quite small, but basically, won trophies everywhere.
Yeah.
Before he joined Tottenham, this washed-up manager won the Europa League, right?
And the FA Cup.
Right? And the League Cup, right?
Oh,
he won the League Cup and the Europa League with Man U before joining Tottenham. He then leaves Tottenham and wins the Conference League with Roma, right? Then gets to the Europa League final the year after that with Roma. All right, he lost that, but 2 European finals in a row. And Cooper, if I'm not wrong, this washed-up manager that only won the Europa League and the League Cup, our fans right now are clambering to win those two very cups this year. So is Ange washed up if he wins those two? Or do we just say that about Jose because people maybe didn't like his style of play?
Well, the thing about washing up is everything goes down the plug hole in the end, doesn't it? So, that seems to be us. I was baffled by it. I mean, honestly, Hitman talking, it is literally the first time in my life where I have physically felt my jaw drop. Before, I used to think it was just a phrase for, looking astonished, but no, I actually felt it happen. It was wow. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I mean, washed up for winning things. That's an interesting one.
It's mad.
I don't understand it myself, but okay. So people are allowed their opinions, aren't they? The bit that got me most though was the justification for sacking Jose. If he went with the assumption that it was to say, he went with the assumption that perhaps it was to save paying out those bonus fees to Jose for winning something.
Yeah.
Which would then make it a direct equation of cash for trophy. So, now, in the comments section yesterday, I've noticed Sean Butler got mentioned for this, for this kind of topic, sustainability and the club's finances and everything.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing about Sean. I know him well enough to say, would he prefer to have 3 or 4 million extra in the kitty or a League Cup? He will take the cup. I'm guaranteeing you that.
Of course.
So
big up to Sean, wherever you are. Hope you are.
Absolutely.
No, he's had some. I'm hearing rumours that he might be back next week. I'm hearing rumours, but hope he is well. But it's mind blowing, right? It's mind blowing how we're turning into accountants as fans. Now, again, look, when we're doing this topic of the football that so and so played, but we've got to be really careful because when you look at when you actually look at the squad that Jose had as well, I mean, Jose Mourinho's not used to managing squads that bad, is he? I mean, this is a guy that had Dyer, Sanchez, Rodon, Sessegnon, Royale, Aurier for a little bit, Sissoko, Winks. This isn't all right. We can say he had Son and Kane, and arguably he got the best Son and Kane out of any Son and Kane we've ever seen. If we're going to be really honest about it, but to get to the cup final was any cup final. I don't care how you get there. Is brilliant. To sack a manager 5 days before a cup final, guys. There's nothing you can tell me unless this manager had done something. I don't know. And this manager had done something really bad to bring the club into disrepute. There is never an excuse for sacking a manager 5 days before and replacing him with Ryan Mason and putting him up against Pep Guardiola.
Big up to Phil P, by the way. This morning he put one of the chats. And I totally agreed with it. That decision to sack Jose just before a final is the biggest, most calamitous mistake Levy's made out of all of his tenure. I've got to agree with that. You can look at basics, even though I hate what Levy's doing football wise. You can look at the basics about new ground's a good thing and the finances are secure. We're not going to go bankrupt. These are good things, but it's football. You want your club to win things, and the fact that you can turn down the one man who's shown previously he can get one over on Pep. He can take underdog teams and win things with them when they're against all odds. He might stink the place out doing it, but that's probably what we would have had to have done. Because there is no way that team of ours was as good as Man City's. That's brutal fact, isn't it? If you're going to pick, you've said this before, Sav, I know. If you're going to pick one manager to manage one game for your team in a cup final, just to get the win under your belt, it's going to be Mourinho, isn't it?
Well, would you like a stat on Jose in cup finals? Mourinho's played. No, okay. Anyway, moving on, Ben.
And the worst thing about that was we were so close in that final as well. The only thing that got City over the line was Laporte scoring, and Laporte should have got sent off. Laporte should have been given 2 yellow cards in that game. Imagine if we had Jose Mourinho in that team, just shithousing the City team. We could have ground out a win then. We could have ground out that win if we had the manager with the kudos, with that experience and know-how in a final. Poor Ryan Mason was a deer in the headlights. If you're going to get sacked Mourinho before a fight, at least put Harry Redknapp in charge. Someone's going to be like, you know what, boys, I'll take this on my chin. I've got the experience. I've been in finals before. I'll take this on me. You put a young coach in that thing, and that can ruin the coach's career as well. One clanger in a cup final could end your coaching career, and you can have that little thing in the back of your head saying you can't do it. Put an experienced guy that's that's had the best of the years of their coaching career behind. Even put Marcin Yeo in charge for a game, for God's sake.
Well, Ben, here we go. Listen to this, right? Jose Mourinho has contested 22 finals as a manager. 22, right? Jesus. 22 finals and won 18 of them. 2 of the 4 that he's lost, though, are like Super Cups. So it's not like he's lost 4 Champions League finals. Another stat for Jose Mourinho is that he's managed 6 European finals and only lost 1 of them.
Yeah.
Right. The only European final that Jose Mourinho lost was 2 years ago with Roma, when they lost to Sevilla, I believe.
Yeah.
In the Europa League final.
Big up Lamella.
Big up Eric Lamella. Everyone was
Sevilla have got real pedigree in that competition.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just to really hammer home the point, right? Look. This is Jose Mourinho. So I know that's a tiny bit small, but hang on, let me just put this up a tiny bit. Won't be able to get it all on. Have a look at that. This man, look at his honours: Porto, Chelsea, Inter, Real Madrid, Man United. No, not finished there. There you go. I'll win in Roma as well. Like, and we've got fans going, dusted. Nah, glad we got rid of him before a cup final. It's like I'm truly utterly bewildered as to what these fans want. And then these same fans say things to me, Kuva, Ben, like, if Spurs win a trophy, you're not allowed to celebrate because you doubted Ange. I'm not allowed to celebrate.
Yeah, if anyone tells me that, I'll tell them my 2,400 quid a year season ticket says I can celebrate however the goddamn like. You can shove off.
Mate, absolutely. Big up, Ren.
2,400 quid a year. If Tottenham win a bloody trophy, I'm celebrating like it's 1999. Nobody tells me how I support my football club. I've suffered.
Yeah, absolutely. Even the most negative fan in the world, pick out the most negative one you can possibly think of. If we win something, I'm just going to be saying to them, "Come on, mate, just have a bit of a celebration now. Crack open a beer." I mean, you're one of us. Fans have just got to celebrate the moment.
Oh, of course. Do you know what's even worrying, right? And look, I don't know when we're next going to win a trophy. Every year we want it to be that year, but I tell you why I don't ever get excited is because we've been in this position a million times before where we talk about winning trophies. If Spurs get to a cup final, wouldn't it be lovely for the day if all the fan base just all got on board, all said, you know what, come on, let's win this. And then wouldn't it be nice if we won it, that we all went, oh, hallelujah, the monkey's off the back, the chips off the shoulder, whatever analogy you want to use, and we all go, we've won a trophy. Yeah. You know what will happen? The first thought in people's minds will be, whoever it is, you didn't like the manager. You said this. That's football now, isn't it? Everyone used to get together. Do you remember FA Cup final day?
Yeah.
Everyone used to get together.
Bring back Saint and Greavesy.
Oh, Saint and Greavesy.
Well, little bit difficult now, but yeah, definitely. Great point of the day.
Yeah.
Bring them back.
Yes, time machines are a thing, Savva.
It used to be football focus and Saint and Greavesy, and you'd have to switch between the two as fast as possible. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Anyway, about the celebrating. remember the 99 final, that terrible game against Leicester? Absolutely awful.
I was there.
Game.
Yeah.
However, I don't know if I remember the celebrations after. Nobody seemed too bothered about the football at that point. The day
wasn't
after,
a
sure, you
classic.
can complain about it, but right then,
yeah,
it's really
it wasn't a classic at all, that final, was it? I remember we struggled to get Ginola into the game. We had a man sent off. We did, didn't we? We had Justin Edinburgh, wasn't it?
Yeah, Justin Edinburgh.
Yeah, Justin Edinburgh for the tussle with none other than Robbie Savage. Listen, my memory of that day wasn't, oh my God, free-flowing football, wasn't it magical? My memory is of one thing. It is of Stefan Everson powering down that right wing, a kind of deflected crossover, and Alan Nilsson just... That's all I remember. I couldn't tell you... The only other thing I remember is Emil Heskey bearing down on goal and Ramon Vega coming like Paolo Maldini from nowhere with his long legs to rescue attack. Other than that, I couldn't tell you anything. I couldn't tell you anything about any game that season. Do you know what I mean? But hey, and big up to Maz. Yeah, I did eat a lot of McDonald's live on stream last night. I ate a lot of McDonald's, and
was it a McRib?
Huh?
Did you have the McRib?
Didn't have the McRib. No.
What are you doing, Savva?
No, I didn't.
What are you doing?
I've never tried it. I should try it. Guys, let's move on. Listen, we spent a whole half hour talking about those two guests. It's absolutely brilliant. Tottenham Hotspur. It's a roller coaster, right? I just never know. I always say it is never boring or dull being a Spurs fan, even when the football is shit. It's never dull or boring actually being a fan. I'm going to ask the question, Kuva. Where are you at? Is there an Ange train departing your house anytime soon? Have you got a ticket to jump on board? What's going on?
Oh yeah, the Ange train's full steam ahead again. No problem. Look, you said it yourself. It's a roller coaster. It's ups and downs. So I'm embracing that. I will flip flop. If things are going well, I'm going to be happy, and if they're not going well, I'm going to be miserable and say so.
Every meal is a banquet. Every hunger is a famine.
Exactly. So I think it's my duty to, because football's an emotional game. You're supposed to get upset when it's bad. You're supposed to be happy when you win. And lifting a trophy is the most amazing thing there is. That's what we live for. It's the dreams, isn't it? So right now, I've gone from that down of the Brighton game where, oh my God, we are really bad to throw that away. That's one of the most gut-wrenching defeats I've seen in a long time. But then I looked at it more stoically later. And even before the City game, I started thinking, well, our home form's actually pretty good. It's a good basis to build on. If your home form's good, make your home a fortress. You're going to get a good share of points to go there. So that point's going well. Then I looked at, well, actually, we're scoring a few goals, even though I don't rate the forward line. Then the defence, is it better than it was last season? I'd say yes. We still do make some mistakes. There's still some bad things that do happen, and a bit weak at things. Perhaps Vicario might flap at a few things we don't like looking at. Gets away with it a lot of the time, but you look at Romero having patchy games. He's either brilliant, he's either a 9 out of 10 or a 4 out of 10, and nothing in between, it seems. But there's others as well. A Doggy perhaps not performing the way he would like him to defensively, but he gets forward a bit. He does something. I don't know what it is. It's just joining in with the press and winning the ball. He can do all of that, but it's the consistency, like you said, Sav. That's your key word. And that's what we've got to aim for now. I'm just at the point now, if we've got the basics of great home record, scoring goals with forwards we perhaps don't fancy that much, things can't be that bad. So can we now fix the away form? If we can do that, we're actually onto something. But it's an if at the moment, isn't it? So.
It is. Just quickly, Ben, before I come to you, I do want to go to a couple of comments, if that's okay. And then I haven't forgotten you. I'm not I'm not thinking lesser of you because you're going to South London this afternoon. Dirty South. By the way, I'm allowed to say that because I live in South East. I don't even live in Dirty South. I'm Dirty South East. My road, by the way, the end of my road is Kent, and the beginning of my road is South East London. Depending on who I'm speaking to, depends on whether I live in Kent or South London. Who we got here? Big up to Ash P, who's become a new channel member. Big up, Ash. Lovely to see you here. Hope you are well and hope you are all aboard Kuva'S Ange train. Kuva, the world's biggest flip-flop. If you actually go to the Havaiana store in London, it's just a picture of a naked Kuva in in the window in a great big billboard.
Must be a bloody big window.
I thought you were going to say a bloody big flip-flops, but yes, big up to you. Thanks, Ash. Renketic has said, we'll talk about this in a minute, actually. We'll talk about the whole sun in a minute. We'll talk about, not like the sun as in the universe, but we'll talk about our son in a minute. When the Spurs go marching in, big up my friend. Hope you are well. I said, what's your thoughts on the League Cup being easy? So far, we had Coventry, Man City, now Man United next round. Will either Arsenal, Liverpool or Chelsea? To me, this is no easy cup run this year. We'll talk about this in a minute when the Spurs go marching on. We talk about whatever we want on our channel. Yes, we can. And a shout out, this one just makes me think of Kuva, because we all know that Kuva's favourite player to ever grace a Spurs shirt was Andy Sinton, and I fully well know what Ben is reaching for right now.
There he is. There he is.
Who's still a better winger than Timo Werner. So,
well, Andy Sinton, who can't run, can't cross, is a winger. And he's a winger. How is that possible?
I remember at one time we had Sinton on the left, Rule Fox on the right. They're both about 4'3". And in the middle was like, God, I might be getting my years mixed up. But I think it was like in the middle of that was like Stefan Freund and Stephen Clements or something.
It was around that time, wasn't it? Yeah.
Stephen Clements, who's now the manager of anyone in the chat. Stephen Clements is the manager of somebody, and I think they won in the cup the other day. So I might be making it up. Somebody FC, good team. Guys, Ben, let me start with you on this one. Then I feel like this deserves some. Has it been an easy cup run? I mean, Coventry, Man City, two polar opposites. Now we've Man United. What Man United is it? We don't know. This isn't Ten Hag's Man United, who I know is your favourite manager. You were sorry to see him go. But is it easy? Can it ever be easy? Teams changing?
It depends what Tottenham you. If it's Tottenham away from home, it's going to be very, very difficult. If we keep on getting home victories, if we keep on getting home ties, I think we will get to the semi-final. The problem we've got is our away form is shambolic. And we all know, not in the League Cup. I don't know, is the League Cup still 2 legs? Is the League Cup still 2 legs, or do you have 1 leg?
The semi is semi.
It's the semi
is 2 legs, right?
If we get to the semi-final, we're going to have to play an away game. We're going to have to play an away game, and that's where the metal is. And if we do somehow get to the final because we've smashed a team at home and we've managed to survive playing away from home, it's another away game. We've got to do what we can't do, which is win away from home. We struggled against Coventry. People are making fun of that Sky thing, saying that Man City played a bunch of kids, but their average age of their starting 11 was 26. At the end of the game, the majority of their team were teenagers. They were 17, 18 years old. It's consistency. We got through them. We played some decent football in their game. We scored some really good goals to get through that really early. Scored 2 first half goals, and City never could really get back in the game. We've got to keep on going. We've just got to keep on plugging away. And Man United, when we play them after the international break, it's going to be Ruben Amorim's manager, and it's going to be in a new manager bounce. So we're going to have it we're going to have it very difficult. But our home form is good enough.
When's the game, Ben? When's the Man United game? What
I believe
date?
it's in
You know?
December, isn't it? Is it the week December the 7th, isn't it? December the 8th?
Should we have a look? Tottenham
Let me
versus
look.
Man United. That's Premier League. Oh, hang on. I've gone to January. Sorry, God knows what I'm doing in January. Let's bring it back. Tottenham Man United is the 17th of December.
17th, yeah.
So by that time, Amorim would have been in for a month,
3 weeks. 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
3 weeks.
Good.
Okay.
Just long enough to get rid of the new manager bounce.
Yeah. Well, but this adds a new dimension to it, because let's be honest. If I sat here and said to you, right, we're going to play Eric Ten Hag's Man United at White Hart Lane for a place in the semi-final, I think we'd all go, yeah, that's a win. Like, we're not worried, right? People can still sit here and say, oh, I'm not worried, but we don't know is the honest answer, right? We don't know. We know Amorim's going to come in and change it to a back three, right? That's how he plays. We know he's going to go to a back three with wing backs or 3-4-3. We know Man United have got some good footballers. I mean, I don't think that's the issue. It's what can a manager do in a month, Kuva? Can he do enough a month to win over the Man United fans, go to an informed home Spurs team and knock Spurs out of the cup? I don't know is the honest answer.
And also we've got to factor in, Savva, but sorry to cut you off, Kuva. We play Sunday night. I've just looked it up. We play Sunday night at 7:00 in Southampton. And Man United play away from home at Man City on the 15th. So they've got a day's more rest, and they're only playing in Manchester because they're playing Manchester City. So that's
that is quite a tough only playing in Manchester, right? That is we're playing Southampton, they're playing the champions of England.
Extra day of rest is really going to help them out. If Man City batter them, which they're more than capable of doing, they can just take off their best players and say, you know what, we've lost this game, we put our hands up, go on to the next game. Whereas we've got to travel. That's not an easy drive to Southampton. You can't fly to Southampton. That's a 3-4 hour drive in a coach. Late at night, getting back at 1-2 o'clock in the morning. It's a difficult one.
Just quickly, Kuva, I'll come back to you just quickly. By the way, Wilson T, I am all for you being in my chat, but I did see the message you sent to me the other night, which purely just called me a twat, right? I did see it. Just because I didn't respond to it didn't mean I didn't see it. Wilson, more than happy for you to be in the comments. Just relax a little bit with the insults if you don't like something you hear. By the way, I don't think we're Doncaster. I reckon Doncaster have got better away form than us. And what I'm going to do right now while Kuva's talking, I'm going to go and check Doncaster's away form. So, Kuva, Man United, Amorim, it's an unknown, right? It's a real unknown.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Ben's right. There's little things you've got to take into consideration. That trip to Southampton, we've just been talking about it. Away form. If we don't go there and play badly, confidence saps a little bit just before that big game. But I think with Amorim taking over, it's a real test for him, isn't it? I think Savva hit nail on the head. Can he, in 1 month, turn a Man United team around that has looked bang average in every department of their game? Every department of their game. Can he get the best out of the players there who do have some talent? And can he bring it all together in time for a difficult away trip for him? Really I wouldn't like to bet on that one at the moment. All I know is it's Man United, we're at home, and we could be going into a semi-final. It's a huge game.
And we don't know what the remit is. By the way, big up Swanex. Love it. Me and Swanex always go head to head, but he's always respectful. We always have good debates. Swanex, do you know there's 209 people in it, which is madness for 11:43 in the morning. Only 43 likes. That is that's disgusting. Like not even 2 in 1. Please, can we run those likes up? They should be at least 100, 125. Kuva, we don't know what his remit is. Right? We don't know that they'll come in and they might say to him, listen, for the League Cup, we're not bothered. For that game, put out the kids. I don't know. They might turn around and go, look, hang on, we can't get top 4 this year, or it's a big ask. Go all out for the cups. So this is going to be interesting. By the way, would anyone like to know Doncaster's away form?
Yes.
Yeah,
Definitely.
we would like to know, wouldn't we? Doncaster are joint second in their league for away form. So please don't put down Doncaster by putting them alongside Tottenham in their away form. Tottenham are 14th in the away form league table, and Doncaster are joint second. So please do not talk badly about the boys and girls from Bellevue if they still play at Bellevue. Yeah. They do. There you go. That was trying to remember everything.
I've been to Doncaster, though. It's nothing to write home about.
But their away form is.
Their away form is good.
That's why.
Yeah, exactly, because they're not in Donkey. Yeah. I love it. What I love about people like that guy, not Swanix, by the way. Sorry, big up Swanix. What I love about people like that is purely me showing this, right? Me showing this. It offends people as though I've made it up. Look, this. Like, it offends them as though I've gone out of my way to go, well, look where we are. This is the form table. This is factual, right, guys? I'm not making this up. This has to be addressed. Whether Spurs fans like it or not, whether you're the biggest Ange fan in the world or not, it has to be addressed. And that is the difference, guys, for me, between being a good team that aim for fourth and seventh, between fourth and seventh, or a team that can sort out the away form whilst maintaining the home form and say, you know what? We want to be one of the best teams in the league. So why are people so upset when you mention the away form? Because that's the only thing stopping us being a really top team. So why are people upset by it?
Yeah. How do you really want to talk about it? It's not like it's this team is good enough. This team is good enough. This is one of the best squads of players we've seen in recent years, or so we've been told by every ultra positive fan on the planet. They should be able to sort it out if we just stop being so gun-ho away from home. In some games, you've got to be tight. Some games, you've got to drop 10 yards deep. And you know what? We're under the cosh here. The other team's in the ascendancy. The other team's fans are right up for this game. Let's be very difficult to beat for 10, 15 minutes, kick the sting out of the game, and then try and hit one on the counter-attack. Because we've proven this year, especially against Villa, we are a very decent side on the counter-attack. We are max of pace in the team. Loads of players that are really hard-working in Sarr, and Johnson has really improved his work rate this year, and Solanke is a fantastic workman. We've got some really good counter-attacking players. Let's use that in the away games. Let's be difficult to beat, full sense of security, draw them out, hit them on the counter with pace, score a goal, defend properly. We can sort out, and we go from being that sort of maybe getting top four to we're in the top four. Let's build upon it. We've got the players, we've got the work ethic. We just need to put that on a bit of paper now, because football isn't paid on paper; it's paid on grass, and we've got to start showing that.
Well, look, Kuva, let me read out to you our next away games, right? And again, I'm talking league. I'm talking league because that's where this is going to be important to how we grow as a team, not in cups, right? If we look at our next away games, now the next one is Man City, right? At home are pretty impenetrable. I can't remember the last time Man City lost a game at the Etihad. This beautiful thing about being live, somebody in the chat will be able to say, it was November 22 or whatever it was. But Man City away, I'm not expecting the fortunes to change. If we can nick a draw, amazing. I'm not expecting a win. But Kuva, after that, our away games in the Premier League are thusly, if that's the right word. Maybe not. Our away games after that are Bournemouth away, which is a very tough place to go, right? Man City and Arsenal have lost there. We've then got Southampton away, followed by Nottingham Forest away, followed by Arsenal away, followed by Everton away. So our next 5 games sees without Man City. So our next 6 sees Man City, Bournemouth, Arsenal, Everton, Forest who are flying, and then Southampton who are bottom of the Premier League table or second bottom. Do you see that away form changing with those 6 games in mind?
I think given all circumstances and our current form, if we were to go and win a couple of them, draw one and lose a couple, I think that would be a pretty decent return from that run of fixtures. That would be an improvement, of course it would, because at the moment,
2-2, you're saying win
Yeah,
2, draw 2, lose 2. Okay,
or
yeah.
6 games, was it? Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, a couple of wins, a couple of draws, a couple of losses. That's fine. You got to just improve all the time, haven't you? I mean, even the best managers in the world, Pep will say the same thing. You could win the league and win every single game that season, and he's still looking to go better at it. He's still looking to then score more goals, let in less, always tinkering with it, always trying to get achieve perfection, which isn't possible in football, but you try for what you think it could be. So we've got a long way to go with our away form. There's no point just saying, oh, we're Spurs, it doesn't matter that we lost a few there. Of course it matters. That's what you've got to improve. We want to be up there. We want to be eventually challenging for the league title again. It's been a hell of a long time for this club. We used to be pioneers in this league, back by the push and run team, the first to do the double in the last century. This were big moments for us, and we just haven't had that. It was very, very sporadic. There was that time in the 70s and 80s, we're still turning over some trophies. Now we're talking about having to improve just to cement top 4 again.
Right.
We are underachieving. We're not the only club underachieving. Look at Everton down there. They shouldn't be in that position. It's another club. You've fallen from great heights in the 80s down to where they are now. Villa are turning things around. How far they go, who knows? But they've got a good, decent manager by the looks of it. So we want to be up there doing the same thing. We want to turn this promising group of players into something that's really respectable. Something that gives you a bit of hope you're actually going to achieve something. And when I say achieve, I don't mean league position, I mean trophy.
Mate, absolutely. What I don't get is, I mean, first of all, I want to refute a comment I've seen is, Ed, it wasn't the first go-to straight after a 4-1 win. My Spurs review show was an hour and a half exactly, and the first hour was talking all about how great we were in the game against Villa, how great our home form was. Then the question was asked, right, how do we kick on? Right, and I know Spurs fans hate it, but for me, my benchmark, guys, is always, right, how do we go from here to there? I know everyone wants to stay and praise that we've beaten Aston Villa, but guys, I saw us beat Aston Villa 4-0, 4-1 last season. For me, I'm asking questions, how do we improve? Spurs fans seem to like it. That's fine, but as much as I'm knocking the Man City fans, at least those guys are their kind of temperament. That's not the word I'm looking for. Their ambitions, their desires are win, 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 play well, win. So I'm not going to apologise for wanting Spurs to improve their away form and get better. I just want to. I know you've got to run at 12, haven't you, Ben?
Yeah.
I don't know if you're all right to carry on after a Kuva.
Oh, for sure. We're sure. We keep going.
Okay. Before I want to talk about, I feel like we should talk about Arsenal a little bit. I feel like we should. We've got to, right?
Oh, mate. Can I come with you, Ben?
All right.
Before we do, I just want to get to a couple of comments that I do find quite interesting. Proximo, another brilliant one, has said, Savva, who was the last manager you supposed? I love that. I love the way they've slipped in the word supposed. Again, kind of inferring that I'm not a real Spurs fan. That you supposed in your 40 years of being a supporter, asking, because can't remember if you ever liked a manager. I mean, Proximo, first of all, I'd be worried if you had known 40 years of my life. That would be stalking on the highest level. Yeah. First and foremost, what you're talking about is you can't remember since I've been on YouTube if I liked a manager. Now, I like Jose Mourinho. I made it very clear at the time. I think Jose's a winner. I think if you give him the tools, he will win. I loved Harry Redknapp. I think anyone that watches me and talks to me every now and then, these boys I'm streaming with now, know how much I loved Harry. I loved Martin Jol. I loved the head coach, not just a sexy Dutch voice. I thought he came in at a very difficult time and made us a very good team with the tools that he had at his disposal. I loved Poch. Yes, at the end, I thought he needed to go and I thought the time had run out, but I loved Poch. So this nonsense that has Savva ever liked a manager is something that you've made up to try and mug me off. And unfortunately, when you do that with the person that's got the platform, I'm mugging you off. So
I hate because there are loads of these fans at the moment that talk like this. But because you're not a big fan of the manager, you're not a fan of the football club. And it's back to what I said before. But when this manager goes, we don't know if he's going to go this year, 2 weeks, 2 months. We're still going to be here.
We're still
here. There are so many. I've been called a McDonald's fan, for example. I've been called a McDonald's fan. I wish it was McDonald's because you go there and get the same product every time. At least you know you get what you pay for. Tottenham, you pay for this and you get that. They tell you you're going to get this.
Unless I ordered it this morning,
Yes, unless you ordered it and you get a salad.
And by the way, I just want to, this comment, Susanna Monaghan, I just want to dispel this myth as well. Again, if we're going to be factual, let's be factual. When we're saying you don't have consistent performances when you have a very young team playing a new style of play, it takes time. Let's break this down then sentence by sentence. I'm so sorry, but first and foremost, the manager's been here well over 50 games now. I'm sorry. How long do you turn around and say, oh, well, it takes 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? I'm sorry. It didn't take Unai Emery 50 games to get consistency at Villa. He's had consistency for 2 solid years. Only 3 clubs have taken more points than Villa. I don't know if you knew this, guys. Only 3 clubs have taken more points than Villa for 2 years and 1 month, right? So, no. And he came into what was a worse situation than what Ange Postecoglou came into, right? It didn't take Eddie Howe. It didn't take when Eddie Howe came into Newcastle. They were rock bottom. It didn't take him time. Secondly, if we're going to do this myth of a very young team, right? Let's break this down. Vicario is 28 years of age. Pedro Porro's 25. Romero's 26. Bentancur's 27. Basuma's 28. James Maddison is 28 years of age. Werner's 30-odd. Son is 30-odd. Solanke is 27, right? This is not the 18, 19-year-old team that people are making it out to be. Yes, Van de Ven is 22, 23, but has been a pro footballer for about 5-6 seasons now. Yeah, Adogi, yes, he's 22 years of age, but he's played. This is now his 5th season as a pro footballer, and he's an Italian international, right? Brennan Johnson has been a pro footballer for 6 or 7 years now and is, 24 years of age? Kulusevski has been a pro footballer for 5. So, guys, please tell me if I'm wrong, you two on the panel, but when we're talking about this young team, I don't see that it is young. It's young when Bergvall and Gray step in for Europa League games, but other than that, it's not a young team.
That's it, simple as that. When Bergvall and Gray step in and Mikey Moore step in, that's when it's a young team. But we're not seeing that week in, week out, are we? So we're not bedding them in for next season. It's going to take time when they start getting regular game time. Until they get that, they remain fringe players.
The team is exactly the same as it was last year. Bar Solanke, it's exactly the same team.
Who's 27?
The worry is for me, because obviously got some friends in the Leeds crowd due to like JSY Talks Football and their Leeds crowd, and talking to them last season. As soon as the bid went in for Archie Gray, I remember saying, I hope he doesn't come to us because straight away, I hope he goes on loan straight away back to you because we will ruin him. I feel that's kind of what we're going to do if we keep on like this. 5 minutes at the end of a game every now and then. It's not enough, is it? The young player to develop, they've got to play.
But Cooper, this is where I think the narrative is that we're a young team because we signed so many young kids in the pre-season, right? But the difference is all those young kids, they're not first team. They will get 5 minutes here or there. But when everyone is fit, Odegaard's not nowhere near first choice, right? Gray isn't. Bergvall isn't. Yang's still not at the football club. So this narrative that it's a young team, I just think that we've got to be honest with ourselves, right? Yes, if we're going to turn around and say it's a team learning a new style of football, I'll debate that as well because we played this style last year. And I actually think, I want to ask you guys this question before we talk about Arsenal for a little bit. I actually think Spurs play better when we're not playing, and forgive me, guys, I hate myself, Ange ball. I actually think Spurs look better in the transition with the counter-attack. And as Stel said to me last night, if you look at all our goals against Aston Villa, none of them were free-flowing Ange ball football. It was high-pressing counter-attack. It was counter-attack football that led to most of those goals that we scored. So for me, again, is it this new style of football which everyone's talking about? I feel like the excuses are running thin as to why we're not good away from home now and not having consistency. I think that's running thin.
It's really funny because Villa were playing very, very well against us when they were doing long ball up to Watkins, long ball out to the winger. They were bypassing our press. The moment Villa started when Villa started passing out from the back, that's when we got our joy because of the high press, because of Sarr, because of Kulusevski, because of Solanke. There is more than one way to skin a cat in the old terms. When playing out the back doesn't work, you can go long, and we can go long. We do have a relatively tall team. Sarr is quite tall. Solanke's quite tall. And Solanke's really good in the air. That's one of Solanke's really good attributes, is he's good in the air, as well as his work ethic. Sometimes we can play the ball long, and that's not a bad thing. Johnson has a load of pace. If you do a dare to Dawson, as it used to be called, 90-yard diagonal ball behind the fullback, Johnson is going to win that duel. He's one of the fastest players in the Prem. We should do it. We can do it. We don't have to play only one way. And this is all down to adaptation, isn't it? It's all down to adaptation. And we can start doing it. When Richarlison isn't made of broken glass, he's also quite good in the air. Hit the ball onto him. He's good in the air. Flick it on to someone. Use that pace in the team. And we can do it. And you're right, Savva. The moment Villa started going, we're going to pass it out the back and try and calm the game down and try and take the skin out. I keep on saying skin. Take the skin out of the game. That's when we got our joy, because that's when our high energy and our high fitness really took over the game, and we won the game because of it. And that's what we got to do. Do what wins us games and not does what's the right thing to do.
I completely agree with you. I've said for a long time, I just feel we're better in transition. I think Kulu looks so good on the transition because he can move the ball quickly. I think when we have 60, 70, 80% of the ball, I think we look slower and find it tougher to break teams down. By the way, I just wanted to prove one more point on the age thing. Sorry, right?
You're always going on about age when I'm on, aren't you?
No, I know. It's because you're old. You always come across as an outed. Or you always come across as annoyed. Man, that's just my face. Everyone always says I come across as
annoyed. We're annoyed. We support Tottenham.
I love this. I'm never happy. I've had to stop drinking because I was so happy when I was out. Anyway, guys, just to give you an idea when we're talking about age, right? This was Chelsea's lineup against Man United, right? We're going to talk about a manager that needs time with age, right? So, yeah, Robert Sanchez in goal was 26. Gusto, 21. Fofana, 23. Colwill, 21. James, 24. So, James, the oldest at 24. Lavia, 20. Caicedo, 23. Madueke, 22. Palmer, 22. Neto, 24. Jackson, 23. The oldest player, other than the goalkeeper at 26, was 24 years of age. That is when you say that's a manager that has a young team and are growing together, right? So what's the excuse for Chelsea? Like that, do you know what I mean? If Chelsea are there or thereabouts, what's the excuse? Because we've got an older, more experienced team than Chelsea, and we're not pulling away from them or anything. So, look, I just wanted to bring that up. Guys, just quickly. How funny is it? Okay, Rick, go away, mate. Last chance, go away, mate. I'm not annoyed. I'm annoyed by idiots like you. That's what I get annoyed about. I'm not annoyed in general as a person. Anyone will tell you, but idiots like you annoy me. Arsenal. have gone from, we've got Angus in the chat, by the way. We've gone from 3 weeks ago, this is the year that Arsenal win the Premier League and take it off of Man City. And now all the noises that are coming out are Arteta out, Edu's left, Board out, Kroenke out. Guys, it's from a Spurs perspective, it's quite funny to see. I don't laugh too much because I know that we don't win things, but how quickly football changes, right? That in the space of a month, all these Arsenal fans that were talking about Arteta being this great manager and Arsenal winning a league title and their summer transfer window was brilliant. Now, all of a sudden, Arsenal fans want their manager out. What's going on? What's happened?
They run out of luck. They ran out of luck. Last year, their injury record was absolutely superb. Like how many injuries did Arsenal have? They had Timber was injured the entire season from that really bad injury he got in pre-season. And I think they had they didn't have that many injuries. This year, they've got all their injuries out. All their top players are out injured. And that's just the way it is. They should have bought a striker. But Havertz has still been doing pretty decently for a player that isn't a striker. Injuries cost a football team. This is what Man United had like 15 injuries at one point last year. Chelsea had their entire team out. Yes, you can say Chelsea had an unbelievably big squad, so it shouldn't have affected them. When you lose a core proponent of your team, it's going to affect you. And that's what's happened to Arsenal this year. They've lost a lot of their important players. And the way they're going to try and set up this year, George Graham 2.0, as I'm calling it, 10 men behind the ball, win 1-0, 1-0 to the Arsenal. They're not playing well because they haven't had the brain in their team. This is what they've got to do. And luck is a massive proponent in football. Last year, they had a hell of a lot of luck with their injuries. This year, they don't.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, it's interesting. Akuva, I'll come to you. But Angus, the reason why I was laughing at your comment when you said our transfer window was shocking, Angus, the problem is you're so visible in Spurs YouTube chat rooms that we all know this is the complete opposite to what you said a month ago. A month ago, said your transfer window is brilliant. And by the way, I think Calafiori's a really good buy and will take time to settle. I do think Mikel Mourinho's a very good squad player. But you guys were all praising it. And now all of a sudden it's gone to, it was a shocking window. Kuva, are we seeing here that this is just how, I mean, the title of the show, are we just seeing that this is how flip-flopping fans are after a bad couple of results?
Yeah, first off, big up Angus. He's flip-flopping, and I highly approve of that.
I love Angus. He came on last night, Kuva. He came into I don't know if you saw it.
I saw.
And he looked, honestly, he looked like me when my mum had died. Like, it was forlorn, monosyllabic. There was maybe 2 or 3 word answers. And I'm thinking, you've only lost a couple of games of football. It was madness.
Yeah, I mean, what I think is going to happen is the same was always due to happen. They've had those injuries. They struggled in the meantime. But they'll get the players back and they'll start putting some wins together and be in with a challenge again. Whether it's enough, probably not. I think what's going to be the killer for them is they might look back at this period of time and thinking they did have their chances to win it and they blew it, just like we did under Posh. And it's painful, but it's there. And now they've changed their style of football. I thought when they were playing really attacking, I thought this team could do it.
I agree.
Soon as they went really defensive, I thought they don't deserve to do it. This is terrible to watch.
Yeah.
Cooper, isn't it? It's bad. As a Spurs fan, I remember watching Arsenal last year. Sorry, I'm not even going to say sorry for this. If Arsenal were on the telly, I'd watch them. I thought they were a really good watch. As a football fan, Arteta got it right. The midfield worked. The forward line was fluid. They looked solid at the back. This year, you watch Arsenal. It's all very pragmatic. And I don't know. Look, I think Ben's right. I think it's madness that Arsenal don't have a striker. You know, Is that false nine?
It's been bugging me for a little while. Who do Arsenal remind me of? They remind me of Leicester. That championship winning,
right,
Premier League winning team. And when not when they're flowing best there, when Mahrez was pulling the strings, but when they're missing some of their big players, and the Tinker man, he said, "Oh, if we haven't got our forwards up there, then the defenders will just have to go up and score a goal, and the likes of Huth would go and do it." That's Arsenal, isn't it? That's Arsenal with their back two. You know they're going to get forward on those set pieces. It's almost like they play for it, isn't it? Seem to against us.
Yeah, I mean, it's madness. By the way, Angus, I love you, dude. I love you so much, but please don't come in here and give it. This has been building up for 5 years. You were telling us all in the summer that this is the year. You've gone from this is the year we're winning the league to this has been building for 5 years. Last year, you were telling us that Mbappe, Zubamendi, and all these guys were going to sign because you're so good. Look, just own it. Just say, all you've got to say is, do you know what? I thought he was the guy. I've got it wrong. I mean, by the way, Kuva, you said it just there. Arsenal, for all we know, Arsenal could win the next 10 and get themselves right back into a title challenge.
For sure.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't know, but they're 2 points above us at the moment.
What you do have to do, and it's the reason why we've still have doubts about Ange, is you look at the previous results. You look at the season before. You look at the trends, and you've got to say Arsenal over the years they have those two very mediocre seasons where they finished 8th. Was it 8th twice running?
I think
Since then, it's been little improvement, chipping away at it. You can't stay there constantly. There's going to be a time when your form dips. They're having that now, and they're in panic mode, and it's really funny.
Yeah,
it really is. But they're not going to be dropping down the table at the end of the season, are they?
No.
The big thing for me, Kuva, with this is I think Arsenal had positioned themselves to attack. You know what I mean? I think there's a difference between being ready and getting ready. And Man City have been ready, right? Man City have been ready and they win it. They're ready. They pounce. They're good. Arsenal have been just there, really close to Man City, but for me, have never had the big guns. And I was brought up. My uncle, who was the head of the academy at Charlton Athletic, always said when teaching me about doing the coaching badges, big guns win you things. It's the big guns. You can play badly. You got a big gun that gets you out of the hole, right? Arsenal, for me, don't quite listen. Odegaard, brilliant player. Saka, very good player. But do they have the De Bruyne?
Just quickly as well. You're right. Talking of big guns, there's another reason why Arsenal may look back and think they've blown their chance, because look at the top of the table. Look who's back at the races. Liverpool are there again. Yeah. So that is not going to be a 2-horse race this season.
Absolutely. Liverpool have got big guns. Liverpool have got big guns. Mo Salah is a big gun. Yeah. Virgil van Dijk. Alisson. These are match winners. These are senior pros that can get you out of nothing, right? And some of the players behind that they're building up now to be big guns, the likes of a McAllister, the likes of a Gravenberch.
Szoboszlai is a fantastic footballer.
But for me, my point in this was Arsenal, if they were going to win the league, needed to go out and make a statement. I think they needed to go, you know what? We're signing, and I'm glad they didn't, we're signing Gyökeres, right? Yeah. We're signing Gyökeres.
Osimhen.
He's going to get 30 league goals. He's going to push Haaland for the golden boot. And you know what? In the games that we're playing bad, he's going to drag us through with a moment of magic. I don't think they've got it. And that's why when Arsenal fans for years have had a go at me going, oh, you just hate us because we're Arsenal, I can take my Spurs hat off. I just don't think Arsenal have had enough to get over the line. And at the moment, it's not proving to be wrong. Do you think we'll finish above them this year? There's a question that's flying around the internet. Do we finish above Arsenal this year?
No. They've got more in the bank than us. They've got a more complete team than us. I think when Odegaard comes back in that team, they'll go back to the way they were before, winning games with set pieces, and they'll on their away form they will average more points than us, and that's just the way it is. But when it comes to Arsenal, you've got to. I know I hate this conversation because it reminds me of being 12, being at school with all your mates and doing like the best teams in the world on a bit of A4 paper. Who would get in this team? Who would get with this team?
Yeah.
How many world-class players do Arsenal have in their team? I think they've got maybe one, if that. Look at Man City have at least 5. And
right.
Liverpool have at least 4 or 5.
Big guns.
They have players that win games of football. Whereas Arsenal, I think, me being biased because I'm a massive fan of Declan Rice, I think Declan Rice is the only player in their team that probably gets in every other team, bar Man City, if they've got Rodri in their team. I think Declan Rice gets in every team, bar Man City. I don't think any other player in their team, you know what, he gets in Liverpool's team. He gets in City's team. He gets in this team. I don't think they've like Saka doesn't get in it. Let's break this down, Angus.
Yeah.
Does Saka get in Liverpool's team?
No.
Does he get in Man City's team? No.
Not when they're all fit. No.
Rice, I think Rice does. I think even if Rodri's in the Man City team, I think they would swap them depending on the game. On games, Pep Guardiola has to be more defensive. I think they put Declan Rice in the team. Odegaard, does Odegaard get in Man City's team? No.
Not for me.
Does he get in Liverpool's team? No. Saliba, just about might get in Liverpool's team. Does he get in Man City's team when Ruben Diaz and Akanji are fit? Possibly.
But you've got Ruben Diaz, Stones, Akanji, Ake, Vardiol that can all play there. Look, I think Kuva, we've definitely had this conversation so many times over the years that when we talk about the term world class, it means different things to different people.
Yeah.
For me, I'm going to go as far and say I don't think Arsenal have a single world class player. I think there's very few world-class players in the Premier League.
As it should be. That's as it should be.
As it should be. I think they come from Man City and Liverpool. I don't think Spurs have a single world-class player. I don't think Chelsea do. I think Cole Palmer, give him a few years. I like to see people doing it over years. I look at Arsenal. I think Saka's a good player, but does Saka terrify fullbacks game in, game out? I'm not sure he does. No. He's a very good player. Please don't think I'm saying he's not a good player, but there's a huge chasm between good and world class. Saliba for me, very good centre half. I think he's a very good centre half.
Yeah. So, is he Virgil van Dijk though?
Is he Virgil van Dijk?
No way in hell.
Exactly.
No way in hell.
And these are the levels, but the problem is fans get biased and want to put all their players in. And like if you look at Angus, Saka, Rice, Odegaard, Saliba, like first and foremost, if you've got 4 world-class players in your team, 4 we're saying, right, and don't win anything, that's a worry. If you've got 4 world-class players in your team and don't win anything, Angus, that is a huge worry. Again, for me, Odegaard, very good midfielder. Really like Odegaard. For me, I think he's that next level below. For me, I think he's in that very good bracket rather than world-class bracket. Same with Saka. Same with Rice. Same with Saliba. And I'm not sitting there saying that because I'm Spurs. I don't think Spurs have got, I'll be honest, I don't think Spurs have got anyone near the world-class bracket. I don't think we've got anyone near some of these.
Son was there 4 years ago when he was scoring 25 plus goals a year. Now that he's getting older and he's had a few injuries, he's still a world-class finisher, but I wouldn't say he's world-class anymore. There are too many good players. Vinicius Jr. has got it's all about what my definition of world-class is the best 3 players in that position in the world. Is Son in the best 3 left wingers in the world? No, not anymore. Not anymore. He was there when he was scoring 25 plus goals a year. He's not there now. And that's Is Virgil van Dijk one of the best free centre halves in the world? Yes, absolutely he is. Is Mo Salah one of the best up there with one of the best right wingers in the world? Top 3? Yes, he is. I would still say he's the best right winger in the world, goals wise.
Yeah.
It's.
I mean, Angus. Listen, this is Virgil van Dijk's been one of the best defenders in the world for about 7 or 8 years, maybe more. Like, when we're going to do this and say he's Van Dijk again, Angus. What I love about Angus, right, is you don't learn. Like, I love you've literally just done the whole Arteta is amazing. Arsenal are going to win a league, and in the space of 2 defeats, he's crap. He's got to go. It's been building up, and you're doing it now with the players. Like, Saliba's a good centre half, but I'm sorry, guys. If I turn around to you and go Saliba or Van Dijk, is there any way in which you pick Saliba over Van Dijk?
No.
Yeah, when Van Dijk was injured.
I'm going to say this to Angus because I really want to wind him up. Saliba needs to leave Arsenal to win trophies.
But Angus,
there's a fact he's got to leave. So has Saka. Saka's got to leave Arsenal if he wants to win something. He's got to leave and go to a better team.
Does everybody agree? I don't think Saliba's as good as he was last year.
No.
I don't think Arsenal as a team. I think sometimes we have to take these things into account, right? Sometimes, listen, I like Saliba. I think he's a very good centre half. I'm not going to knock him on that front, right? Sometimes when a team is going through a difficult period, players go through a difficult period as well. It's very difficult sometimes to stand up and say, right, everyone else isn't doing well. I'm going to be magnificent, because things don't always fall into place. Yeah, Arsenal haven't been as good this year. Saliba's still a very good centre half. He really is. I just don't think he's at that level. I don't yet. He's only 23. I just don't think he's at that level. No, you're right. And I don't know why there's this constant need that we want to make people world class. There's like, I had this debate the other day, Ben, with somebody in a chat room, and I don't go into them often, right? And it was, Savva, do you think Cole Palmer is world class? I said, no. I said, oh, he's brilliant. I said, you didn't ask me if I think he's a brilliant footballer. You asked me if I think he's world class. For me, you can't have 1 year and then we go world class. For me, world class is week in, week out, 3, 4, 5. Erling Haaland has scored goals at an elite level every year since he was 16. You can call him world class, right? Virgil van Dijk has been superb every year, year in, year out, apart from, he got that massive injury. World class. We now get players and we go, world class because he had 1 good year and 25 GA. Like, it's absolutely madness, the need to thrust this title upon people, Ben.
It's just let people play their game. In the words of the kids, let the boys cook. In the words of the kids, let them cook. Let them do something about it. It's
thanks, Timothy.
Yeah, is it a tuba? Timothy Atuba's in the chat, everyone.
No, Timothy Atuba. What a goal, by the way. Timothy Atuba.
You just banned Timothy Atuba. How dare you?
But it's. I just don't. Let me ask you two this question then. Do you think the standards have got so low in football now? Because I remember, like in the 90s, early noughties, there were players that were superb that if they played now, we'd be calling elite and asking for them to win Ballon d'Ors that weren't even considered world class back in the day.
Batistuta would be
There was so many of these top players. Now, like Cole Palmer, and again, love him, think he's going to be a great player, think he could be world class. Goes to Chelsea, has 1 good year, and we go, he is world class, and walks into any team. Whoa, earn your dues.
Yeah,
it's madness. It's a little different for me because my definition of world class is different to yours again. For me, it's a player that can get into any team in the world without looking out of place.
Yeah.
So for me, world class fluctuates from generation to generation. If I go back 30 years, I could say perhaps there's 10 world-class left wingers. Perhaps now I might say, well, there's 2 or something like that. So it does vary. At the moment, I look at Arsenal, I think, do any of their players get into absolutely any team in the world without looking out of place? I kind of going towards what Ben said. I think the Declan Rice maybe. Saka, I think, was on course to do it, but I kind of feel like he's plateaued. I don't think he's going to that extra level. Odegaard has never reached that level.
Rashford did. Rashford was like up like that, and then suddenly Rashford's gone like that.
Yeah, very much the same.
Yeah.
So they've got some very good players without doubt, but are they those world beaters? No, I don't think so. That's why Man City win the titles and Arsenal don't.
Well, if we look at, I mean, look, let me bring up here, for example, and obviously I know some of you might have time constraints, so if you do need to jump, just let me know. If we look at, let's look at someone who I think he's the greatest player I've ever seen? No. Do I think he's got the best touch and control I've ever seen? No. But this player, let's look at these stats if we want to call someone world class, right? Let's look at these stats. This is Mo Salah, right? Now, as I said, I don't think he's technically the best footballer I've ever seen. I think sometimes when he dribbles with a ball, he's quite got it under control. But you know what? You know my favourite word, people? You know my favourite word, lads?
Context.
Well, it's consistency, but yeah. Look at this consistency, right? Look at this consistency at Liverpool. Those numbers just every year, those numbers show me that this guy performs week in, week out. Now, someone will go, oh, he was crap last week or this game. But in general, look at these numbers, right? He's got 44 goals, 27, 23, 31, 31, 30, 25. Like already this season, he's got 9 in 15 in all competitions. That is a player I look at and I go, you want to talk to me about the world-class conversation? I'm having it. Yeah?
Yeah, but is he better than Brian Hill?
Yes.
Well, it's difficult to be better than Brian Hill because Brian Hill was Lionel Messi's successor, wasn't he? So it's very difficult to compare anyone to Brian Hill. But, you know, I've never got it. Like, if we take Bukayo Saka, I like Bukayo Saka. I like him. He's a good footballer. But nowadays, it doesn't seem like it's enough to say you like a footballer. It doesn't seem like it's enough. You've got to think that they're either world-class or not. Our fans at the moment are trying to put out videos and compilations to show that, oh, my God, Kulusevski's the best midfielder in the league. Like, why can we never just say so-and-so's playing well, really hope they keep improving? We have to go, boom. Like, it's the world we live in is madness. So Arsenal, for me, hang on. Savva's a stat merchant. Can't be world class and technical. You can't be. Savva is the opposite of a football fan. Typical Brexit mug. I mean, I've been called worse. I've been called worse.
What's got to do with it?
A typical Brexit mug, though. I'm not a special one. I'm a typical one.
Yeah.
You know what? I like things like this.
Sports Direct mugs, the really big ones. You get you need to put 2 tea bags in. One of those.
Do you get the feeling? I'm looking at the picture and thinking this might have been the same as that Timothy guy that I just banned. Everyone say,
but I'll just point out as well. Savva is the opposite of a football fan. Typical Brexit mug. So if you voted Brexit, you're not a football fan, then.
Which is really funny because most people that voted Brexit probably were football fans.
Oh, mate. I love it. I love it. Savva, stop doing YouTube. You are not a football fan, you Brexit mug. Oh, mate, I don't get involved in politics in any way.
Politics.
Should have just called me a mug. That would have been a little bit more appropriate if we're going to be brutally honest. But yeah, it's interesting, guys, isn't it? Like the days of when Arsenal had that brilliant team that was up against Man United's brilliant team, you know, like with the Keane Vieira battles. You looked down the 11s, not just them, you looked at Chelsea at that time as well, Liverpool. You looked at those 11s and they were just littered with top footballers everywhere. Littered. I now look down these 11s and go, there's some good players, but I just feel the standard has dropped so much in the last decade.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's to do with more rigid formations, not having the kind of mavericks. But would you agree with that, guys? Has it dropped the standard in general?
Oh, for sure. Look at AC Milan's team that played against Liverpool in the Champions League final. Dida in goal, Cafu, Maldini, Kaka, Gattuso, Seedorf. I can't name the entire team. Nesta. They had a ridiculous team, and they weren't. That's a world class team. Like Shevchenko's another one. They had some ridiculous. The Real Madrid team, the Galacticos team with Figo and not Gabby. They had some ridiculous players. The Ronaldo's, the Michael Owen couldn't even get in that team. That team was that good. And Michael Owen won a Ballon d'Or, for God's sake. The Beckhams, the Zidanes, Makalele's, some ridiculous footballers in those.
An aging Ronaldo, but he was still good, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was still good. Guti, that's the one I'll remember. Guti. The Italian league in the 90s, like Fiorentina, with some ridiculous footballers. Batistuta, when we was playing for Fiorentina, with the Nintendo shirt, one of the best football shirts ever. There was some really good Inter when they had their ridiculous team.
Here you go. This is what. Look at this, Ben. Look at that. Look at that 11.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
Look at that. I mean. Just look at it. It's absolutely, my front door's gone. But look at that. Talk about it while I'm away. That is a ridiculous 11.
You know what? Some of those might just get into a Man City team.
Oh yeah, they would. I think they
of course they would. Yeah. Fantastic.
That is porn, that team. Bobby's going to come in the chat in a minute and say, "Oh."
I'll tell you what. Look back at that now. Alex Ferguson must have been thinking, "Oh, I shouldn't have got rid of Stam."
No, he should not. That
one of the rare mistakes he made, I think, was getting rid of him. He was a fantastic defender.
That's a football team.
Oh God, yeah.
Joey Barton saying those are all world class footballers there.
You look at that back four, you could almost move them into midfield, and it's better than most midfields as well.
Yes. I mean, Maldini could play anywhere.
No, Maldini's without doubt, one of the greatest to ever kick a ball.
Yeah.
It's just dripping with talent.
I mean, what Kaka did to Manchester United was just ridiculous. Again, another one, Vindaloo, the 1970s Brazil team. Even the Dutch team that didn't win anything, all total footballers. All total footballers could play absolutely anywhere.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's mad, isn't it? But look, guys, we'll wrap up in the next 5. Look, I just think it's funny because we talk about this a lot. It feels like it's the done thing now on YouTube, especially. Listen, being a YouTuber, I have to put myself in this bracket, but we've kind of ruined football in a way, some of us, because we have these crazy videos where a player does well for a game or 5 games, and it's everyone's in the mud. You're in the mud. I've got this one guy that every time Spurs win a game, he picks whichever the player is that's done the best. And Savva's in the mud. Like Papasara's a great game. Savva's in the mud. You know, Kulu's had a great. Savva's in the mud. Savva's in the mud. And it's like, look. First and foremost, what am I in the mud about? Right? What are people in the mud about? Second of all, what happened to turning around and going, you know what? If we're going to call Kulusevski, for example, we're going to go, oh my God, he's a top midfielder. Show me over a couple of years. Show me some consistency over a couple of years where your numbers are good, your performances are good every game. We don't do that as football fans now. What we do is we see a player have 3 good games and we're making videos asking if they're the best player in the world football. Like it's
one of the things that used to appeal to me so much about football, it was the great leveler. It didn't matter what your background was, what your walk of life was. your status, how wealthy you were. We're all the same when we went to watch a football match. Nowadays, with social media, it feels like it's constantly a competition.
Yeah.
I've got to be a better fan than you are. I've got to know more about the game than you have. My opinion's right, yours isn't. And then you've got to big up your team. My team's better than your team. That's standard. But it's to the point where it's trying to back it up with things that don't really back it up with, bringing up statistics that don't mean anything to back it up. And then you got all the players as well. If the player pulls on your club's shirt, they're suddenly elevated to, well, he's a much better player than so-and-so just when the Chelsea or something, even though we wanted that player that's gone to Chelsea. And it's kind of a fakery to it all. It's there's no acceptance that sometimes you haven't got the best team, or some of your players aren't up to the job, or maybe the manager isn't the greatest in the world. And sometimes it's overlooked. The common sense has gone out of it. And it's gone from, instead of just turning up to a match day, cheering your lungs out and singing away, few drinks, enjoy yourself with a few friends, it's something that drags on right the way through the week. Rivalries between fans of the same team, and divisions. It's really weird.
It's mad, isn't it? Like I'll give you an example. This guy constantly comes into my chat. Big up Billy. He's never rude, but he constantly comes in my chat, and we're not allowed any critiquing. We're not allowed any in-depth football conversation. And I'm going to go one further. I'm not going to name names, but there are YouTubers that I see. They make videos about people like me, right? They don't say my name, but they quote things I've said, and I think, talking about me, I know you are. And I always message them and go, come on, let's have a football chat. No, I don't like debating football. I just want to follow Spurs. Cool. But I follow Spurs, but I want to debate football. I started a football YouTube channel, right? So we could have in-depth discussions, so that we don't just all go, imagine we all came on here and we all said, oh yeah, how great's the defense? Defense amazing. Do we need new midfielders? No, midfielders are great. God, how great are our forwards? Yeah, I think we've been brilliant. Does away form matter? No. What would we talk about? Yeah. But yet, when you do talk about the ins and outs of it, people just get, oh, you're not a fan. You're negative. Okay, so you want a Spurs fan channel where we're just sitting here saying everything's great. I just follow the club no matter what.
Everything is awesome. Everything is good when you're part of it. It's the Lego movie. We're in the Lego movie.
And the two bits that annoy me the most, the first one, if we do win something, you're not allowed to celebrate with us.
Yeah.
And the second one, well, if you don't like it this way, you can go and support someone else.
Yeah.
Totally crap things to say to another fan.
Yeah.
Really, really pathetic things to say to somebody else.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we are amateurs here talking on a social media. It doesn't bloody matter what your opinion is. All that matters here is, are you having fun having the discussion? Yeah. Because we are not changing football. We're not. People get way above their station, think, so this conspiracy thing goes on. If we're all united as on social media, on YouTube, therefore the team will do well.
Yeah, absolutely.
How's that going to work?
I've got to make sure Phil P has contracted me to say, as part of the Kulu Defence League, that in the eyes of the Kulu Defence League, Savva is, of course, in the mud. God bless Dejan Kulusevski, the greatest footballer to ever exist on the history of the planet. Savva's in the mud.
Do you know
the coming home again? And that's the party political broadcast on behalf of the KDL. Hashtag KDL.
It's kind of like for example, Kulusevski. I've never hated him as a footballer. I hate him as a winger. I don't like him playing as a winger. The manager's put him in the midfield. I think he's done well. But again, I'm not over. Ben, you know me. I don't go overboard. Like, has Kulu done well so far this season? Yes. I think he's done very well
this season.
Right. But
now do it again.
Then you get people to add to Kuva'S list of things that are really stupid. Let's do a list of things that are really stupid on YouTube. Can we have an apology form? Like, what is this absolute nonsense of apology forms? Oh, I got it this week. Solanke scores 2 goals after me doubting Solanke for his 10-year career.
Yeah.
Right? Savva in the mud. Look how great he is. Hang on. Yes.
Yeah.
Did Solanke do very well? I thought he had again, shit first 45, excellent second 45.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is what we're going to do now. Player has good 45 minutes. Everyone now needs to say, oh, I was wrong. I think he's brilliant. Like, when did it become so childish? Like, when did it get to this?
Oh, please, Savva, when we finish seventh this year, please make a Savva apology form. That'd make me so happy if you send everywhere a Savva apology. I really want you to make a Savva apology form if we finish 7th. That'd be the funniest thing. That would be the most hilarious thing. Just like after going on that tirade that you hate, please make an apology form. That'd be
last
so
year,
funny.
when I was cussed from pillar to post, when I had YouTubers that won't work with me now, they don't work with me now, won't come on my channel now. But they would come on, go, oh, you're negative. Let us dream. Let us hope. Let us believe. And I just said, look, you guys, if you're delusional, if you think we're winning the league, you're delusional. That's up to you.
I'm still here.
Yeah, I know, but you're the king of the delusionals, right? And I said Spurs will finish 5th. I said it from day one. Spurs finished 5th. Where were my apologies? Right? But what's happened?
You make an apology form, Savva. That's why. You've got to make your apology form. You're the reason this football club is. You have the football club you deserve.
And that apology form. Yeah, the apology form does need columns with context check and consistency check as well.
Oh, listen.
Are you consistent? Club you deserve.
Do you have? I just honestly, listen. I love YouTube. I do. It's fun. We have conversations like this. It's great. There's so many. I see the same faces in the chat that I think really good. And then I know. As soon as I put ends to this show in the next 2 hours, I'll start getting these ridiculous comments on YouTube. And you know what's worse about it, guys? You know, on YouTube, when you can look at somebody's channel, it says view their channel. Don't know why to call it that. And you can see when the channel was set up. It's always, this channel was set up 17 minutes ago. This channel was set up 2 days ago. And already they're going, oh, Sav, you chat loads. It's like, oh, so you've clearly made this account to. I just don't get it. Like, if we win a League Cup, we all want to win the League Cup. Our fans will treat it like a Champions League. For me, this is just a bloody long overdue thing. Right? But I don't know, guys. I don't know. I struggle. I really struggle.
I always love the new accounts with a random name. So, like, I mean, not even got the guts to put either name or face on screen. It's like, I'm supposed to take them seriously.
Yeah. Again, like interesting. Like, let's take Stel for example. Stel went on to We Are Tottenham TV, right? Big up to Ben and Sim. I've got nothing against them, but Stel went on to We Are Tottenham TV back in May when Spurs re-signed Timo Werner and called it out in front of thousands of people and said, "This is shit. This is pathetic. This is basically, So I'm not word for word, but basically was saying this is going to be this has set the tone for the transfer window." Everyone in those comments, Stel, you're a mug, Stel, you're wrong, Stel this, Stel that, right? Stel's now asking, okay, hang on. Everyone's now saying Timo Werner's shit, we shouldn't have re-signed him. No one's going, sorry, Stel. Sorry that we mugged you off. Sorry that we all called you these names in that show. And that's what it's like. That's what it's like. Even when these people are wrong, they want to be better fans. Yeah, I'll call it out now. There's some YouTube channels that turn around. They're saying in their videos right now, you know you are if you're watching this. Those other YouTubers that don't just blindly back Spurs, they're not real fans. Just blindly believe we're supporters. You're not managers. Neither are you. You've got a YouTube channel. You're not a manager. I didn't know it was a prerequisite. I didn't know I had to be an ex. So
technically, I am a manager, just not of a football club.
Yeah. I just don't think that anyone needs apologies for anything in football. I truly don't think it. So what? Kuva'S says this week, "Oh my God, I really don't rate." I'm just going to make it up. Kuva'S, I really don't rate Will Lancashire. I don't think he's going to make it. Will Lancashire plays Galatasaray and scores a hat-trick, suddenly people going, where's the apology form? What? What are we doing here? What are we doing? Just mud. It's like talking to children. Anyway, guys, any last things that you would like to say about Tottenham Hotspur, about the world of football and mud and trolls and whatever?
Truth is always somewhere in the middle.
Just quickly, we didn't get to this, sorry. Just quickly, really quickly, last few minutes, if you're okay for a few minutes. Rinketic did ask, and I put this up at the beginning, if someone comes in for Son in January for 70 mil, would you sell? I would, because we could splash the cash on Semenyo. I love that guy. Plus another player. Guys, it's the same Son conversation that we've been having as a fan base for years now. Where are we at with Son?
For me, there comes a point where you just got to cash in while he's still got the value, so you can get a replacement in with that money. Semenyo, I like him as well. It would make sense. It would make sense. I would miss Sonny terribly, but you've got to move on at some point. He is not going to play forever. He's in his 30s now. Even if we got him to sign a new contract, up to 35? Is he going to be playing as well as he is now at the age of 35? I very much doubt it. So what are we hanging on to then? It's just the merchandise side of it with Sonny then. And of course the Korean fan base, which is tremendous support, let's face it.
Right.
But we have that youngster now to come in, haven't we? So yeah, that's a clever little bit of that's a clever signing one way or another, whether we know anything about him really or not. But right now, Sonny, enjoy him while he's here. He won't be here forever. If we do get that offer of that kind of money, got to look to the future. You can't just hang on forever.
I mean, can't we have both? This is the problem with Tottenham. It's one or t'other. Why can't we have both of them? Why can't we have both? And this is the problem with Tottenham. This is my problem with Tottenham. We've always had a pretty decent first 11, but our squads have always been shocking. Why can't we have Son and Semenyo? What reason? Why can't we have both of them? We've got no reason. We've got no reason why we can't have both of them. Get them both.
Ben, I said this summer.
Also, I'm not taking anything Rinketic says to heart because he doesn't even watch Indiana Jones. He's got no good opinions on the planet.
Yeah.
Can I be honest? I think the Indiana Jones films are shit. I'm just putting it out there.
I'm getting off this show.
Oh my
Sorry. I think Star Wars is shit. I think Star Trek is shit.
Jones. Football club you deserve, Savva. You've got the football club you deserve.
I'm a
negative.
I am making a fake account. I'll tell you, mate. You're having it.
I'm making 2 fake accounts.
I don't doubt that most of them are you anyway, Kuva. Don't
Just get bored, don't you?
I just think they're. I fight like. I mean, how many Star Trek films can we have? How many Star Wars films? It's all the same thing, isn't it? What are we doing?
Oh my God! No, the 2 universes are the same thing. This man's mad.
Sorry, it's not me. I'm not into all that sci-fi nonsense.
This is the end of this show. Savva doesn't like good movies.
This is the end of everything.
Sorry, guys. The internet is shutting down for the year. But the funny thing with Son, I think that Son has now become a moments player, right? He's having less effects on game. Like, don't get me wrong. Like the weekend, it wasn't a good performance, but he got that moment for the goal, right? But in general, I think, and I'm not knocking him. He's getting a bit older. This is kind of natural progression for players that rely on their pace. This is natural. He doesn't beat his men like he used to, which is natural for his age. For me, I said in the summer, Ben, Spurs should have gone out if we had any seriousness about us. Rather than buying Odegaard and Yang, it should have been Matoma, for example. Just for example, that's where I turn around and go, sorry, Spurs go to Brighton and go, how much do you want from Matoma? You want 65, 70 million. You know what? Yeah. When you get him in, that's when I turn around and go, right, we're serious, right? When you're bringing in Odegaard and Yang, listen, again, 3-4 years down the line, I don't know. But when you're bringing in Odegaard and Yang, you're almost saying to Sonny, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how old you get. It doesn't matter what you lose in pace or whatever. You're still going to be our number one choice, and we've got no one kicking him up the arse trying to take the spot from him. Only my opinion.
You need experienced heads in this team, and a player like Son could really do with a player like Mitoma in the team. I mean, Sonny can go a bit more central, a bit more closer to those moments, because moments happen when you're close to goal. Play Sonny as either as a behind the striker sort of player. Like the best we've seen of Sonny is when he's been a second striker with Harry Kane dropping deep. I think Son and Solanke could actually be really good together as a partnership, because one works hard and drops deep, and Sonny can go in behind and use that explosive pace he's got. And Mitoma on the left would be brilliant for Sonny, because he'd create all that space for him, causing havoc for his fullback, which then Sonny would expose. It's players like Son and Mitoma would work so well together. They would work,
and it gives you options
together.
Ben, it gives you options. Like Ellie is right. Big up Ellie. I'm surprised she didn't manage to slip Højbjerg's name into that bracket. But look, I want to see the Matomas, the Semenyo and Buemos. I want to see those quick, dynamic, powerful players. Yeah, I think these are the ones that in big games make a difference. But look, I'm not knocking Son. Son's been a wonderful player for Tottenham for many, many years. Yeah. It's just natural. And one thing that Spurs have never been good at is having successors in place. We've never done it. We've never, ever done it, have we?
Why? You bring a Semenyo in and he eventually takes over.
I love... See, if we had Semenyo on the right wing... Look, people have a go at me about this opinion, right? But I watch Brennan Johnson. I don't care if he grabs a few goals. I think he's so bad as a footballer. Like, as an actual wide right player, he offers nothing in terms of he can't beat a man, his dribbling isn't good. Imagine we had Semenyo on the right, Mitoma on the left, with Solanke through the middle. Now, I think we're finishing top 2 or 3. I'm calling it. I do. I think if you've got that pace, that power, scaring the shit out of fullbacks, I think we're a different proposition. I think we blow teams away.
You've got to give Johnson his props, though, Savva, because he's got a fair few goals this year already for club and country.
I'm not knocking it.
He's scoring the goals, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. If he keeps putting them in,
Ben. But the problem is, I'm not knocking it, but the problem is, in the games where he's not adding a goal, it is like playing without a right winger, because every time he gets...
you have both of them. In certain games, you have a Johnson, and in other games, you have a Semenyo. And that's what building a squad is. That's what actual... Because in games that you need to... Like in games we're not going to have the ball, Brennan Johnson is actually a brilliant player to have. Ball over the top. He beats his man for pace. Get in. That's what having a squad is. That's what having a squad is.
I think the argument with Johnson there, you could apply it to Sonny in a lot of ways as well. If Sonny's not on goal scoring form, he's not the most creative player in the world. Oh, great assist on against Villa, wasn't it? But generally speaking, that's not his game, is it? He's the finishing touch player.
Yeah.
So if that's not happening, it's not the greatest player to have in the team at that point.
Mm. Yeah, and by the way, just quickly, Ash, big up my man. I love Ash to bits, and we speak on WhatsApp and stuff. Listen, I think it all depends, doesn't it? I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying that in games now, he's not as visible as he once was. It used to be get the ball to Son, he's the danger man. Now I don't feel when the ball goes to Son, I never feel something amazing is going to happen. His goals, listen, he's done well. He's done well. He's got the same GA, by the way, as James Maddison, who gets all the hate in the world. But look, I think Sonny, I think he does get plenty of respect. The fact that he never gets dropped, the fact that he plays weak, he does get the respect. But part of football management, part of being a manager, guys, part of being a director of football and an owner of a club is you've got to be forward thinking. You've got to be looking at what next. As presidents say in the Oval, what next? What next? What are we doing next? And I think Spurs, we sit there with it. We did it with Lloris. We kept him and kept him and kept him and kept him 2-3 years too long. I think we're going to be in that bracket with Sonny. And by the way, I'm not saying he's not capable of doing what he did on Sunday, but in terms of when you watch Mo Salah play, right? Salah's involved in everything Liverpool do. Salah's involved in everything dangerous they do. Luis Diaz, you know what I mean? These players are dangerous. Cole Palmer, constantly dangerous, constantly in the game. Sonny's gone past that a little bit now. He's not that guy. He's the moments player. So that's just my take on it.
Also with Sonny, which position really is his? Because I think he's kind of that central striker that drifts out to the left, rather than being a left winger that goes in central and scores. He's a goal scorer that can go wide occasionally, but he's not a winger that can score occasional goals for me. He's kind of a difficult to work around. That's why Kane and Son worked so well together. Then Son his role was that advanced forward, the one that's going to go bearing down on goal, clean through from a great through ball.
Again, and that's why I think Solanke and Son would be a very good partnership, because Solanke does drop deep a lot of the time.
Great.
Solanke does drop deep, and that would allow Sonny to get in behind and get more goals. I think that would work.
Easy comparison is, look at those ones where Timo Werner goes running through one-on-one. Who do you want, Timo or Sonny?
Yeah, Timo. Do you know that the key thing for me is I truly believe that this team it would be so much better if we dropped the two wide men. I truly believe there's different way. I think you'd see better from Maddison, better from Son, because our wide men are on periphery of games as wide men, if that makes sense. If you actually look from wide in the last game, Brennan Johnson, where did he do his best work? He ghosted in and got the goal in the middle. As a winger, he offered. As a winger, let's be fair, Luca Digne had nothing to do. As a he didn't beat I don't know if anyone can remember. I don't remember him beating Luca Digne once. Sonny, I remember him beating the man once, which was for the goal. Yeah. Other than that, out wide, I feel like we're pretty redundant.
That's why I really dislike the inverted fullback system, Savva. That's why I really dislike it. Porro and Udogie go so narrow, it forces Brennan Johnson and Sonny to be in areas they're not effective in. As you said, Brennan Johnson is effective at the back post, tapping goals in. Sonny has been effective in his entire career, drifting in and scoring goals.
Kulusevski as well, I'd say, benefits more when the game's stretched. There's more space available.
Yeah.
Our natural game is to condense the play in the opponent's half and have the inverted fullbacks in there, just to make it even more condensed in front of the penalty area. A lot of our players struggle with that.
Yeah. But if bats are monkey nuts, as they say.
Absolutely. And on that note, Ben, Kuva, it has been an absolute pleasure as always. We could talk football all day. Ben, stay safe, please. You're traveling into, it's like a different part of the world coming to South.
I've worked in South London for over 10 years, Savva. I know me. I blend in.
I worry about you, Ben. I do worry. You seem like such a nice boy with your little.
Don't worry, Sav. He'll be making some peas.
Big up. But Ben, enjoy your day. Hang on. Sorry, I had to. Just to be clear, you don't like. Hang on. Ichiko, listen to the words that came out my mouth. I never said I don't like it.
He's talking to me. He's talking to me.
I think he's talking to both of us. I think what we said was right. Well, I think what he said was, I think we'd be more effective. You know, it may be scoring the most goals in the league at the moment, but that's a moment in time. This is what I mean. Like, even if you were talking to Ben, you can't critique. You're not allowed to say anything. Football fans, no opinions from now on, please. No opinions. But look, we do need to go. Ben, thank you so much. Much love. Enjoy the rest of your day. Kuva, sorry that your food didn't arrive. Or maybe it has now. Has it? No, it didn't arrive. Okay. Sorry about that. Much love. We'll be back next week and we'll think of an inventive title. The only way is something. And the news.
The only way is no delivery.
The only way is no delivery. Love that. The news coming out of Spurs is that Romero's going to be out for between 7 and 10 days. So probably, looking like he's going to be out. His next game will be after. Look, basically he'll be fit for Argentina, right?
Yes.
Basically, he'll be fit for Argentina. Yeah. Smash the like, people. Thank you so much. Really enjoy the interactive nature of today's show. Thank you for all the sensible comments. Please smash the likes on the way out. Only 114 today. Thank you, everyone. I'm off to shower away all that mud, apparently. So take care. And as always, anyone want to finish it off?
Leave it out.
Leave it out. And come on, you Spurs.
Jen.
And food delivery, please come.